The leadership of the House of Representatives may have changed. GOP lawmakers remain committed to questioning the investigatory practices of some key government agencies, and One America's John Hines reports from Washington.
The top Republican on the House Intelligence Committee told One America News in an exclusive interview that he is continuing his investigative oversight of Department of Justice and FBI misconduct during the 2016 campaign.
Well, I want to make sure everybody knows that we're still here. The only difference is that we no longer have subpoena power.
And there's still more to do in the name of transparency, including seeking the declassification of thousands of documents still in the possession of the Department of Justice, says California Congressman Devin Nunes, who, with the Democratic takeover of the House, has now transitioned to assume the leadership of the Republican minority on the House Intelligence Committee.
There's still more to do once you get more documents, things become public. We always have people coming with new information. But for the most part, we've requested that DOJ either appoint a second special counsel or have a real investigation into everything that took place in terms of FISA abuse and how they got to the point where they actually were investigating a political campaign, which is really the thing that went awry in 2016 and has caused such damage to this country.
Talk a little bit about potentially the future leadership of the committee and where it might go from here.
Well, it all depends on whether or not they're going to go back into Russia collusion or not, whether they're going to be serious or not, and do they have any real witnesses to call that have something actually to say. We've heard lots of innuendo about that they have the evidence of collusion. Nearly every single member of the Democratic Party has said that they have evidence. So they've been hiding it up till now, so we'll look forward to them presenting the evidence to the American people.
Evidence of collusion, according to the Democrats, but evidence that Nunes himself was never able to find during his tenure as chairman of the committee. Yet he did find ample evidence of collusion by the Clinton campaign.
I think the irony of all of this is that this investigation is that the very thing that the supposed investigation began on, which was colluding with Russians, whether or not the Trump campaign was colluding with the Russians, that's exactly what the Clinton campaign was doing. They were colluding with Russians, getting information from Russians, and trying to dirty up candidate Trump at the time. There should be an full investigation into that. There won't be at this point, but I'm hopeful that once people get to see the extent of what they were willing to do to one campaign and the exculpatory evidence that was left out, all of those things need to be declassified, and then there should be a proper investigation to determine who was behind this, and they should be held accountable.
And speaking of accountability, the former chairman of the House Intelligence Panel has some thoughts about a lack of accountability at the Department of Justice under an attorney general who recused himself from overseeing the investigation of Russian collusion and the Trump campaign.
In retrospect, President Trump, it was rumored throughout that I'm going to fire Jeff Sessions, and you had many people in this building who said, you can't fire him, it's going to look terrible if you fire him, you can't fire him. In retrospect, the president's instincts were right. He probably should have, not because Jeff Sessions is a bad person, but because he couldn't do the job. And then, everything just ran amok. And now you have, a special counsel that appears to be full of Democrats. I think all the things that your listeners are well aware of.
What was your biggest surprise, your biggest unexpected event or thing that happened during your tenure?
Sadly, the committee now has become a political committee, really, that's been its sole focus, at least from the Democrats, has been to attack the president. And it's not the appropriate use of the committee. Last year, the Republicans actually did a lot of work on China, a lot of work at doing our job of overseeing those 17 agencies. And I want the American people to know that the Republicans, as the Republican leader, that work will continue. We will continue to conduct oversight.
Nunes tells One America News about the future of the California Republican Party and describes how Democrats exploited ballot harvesting to score their surprise victories in the second half of our exclusive interview. John Hines, One America News, Washington.
Want to see more videos like this? Click on the link below and subscribe to One America News on YouTube, and call your cable provider and kindly demand that One America News is added to your lineup. Call and subscribe today.